Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another edition, another day, the final day of the GSL qualifiers for 2024 GSL Season 2 Qualifier Part number 3. As a reminder, we have been going over these qualifiers over the past couple of days. Over the past, 4-ish days, we have 2 broadcasts. We were supposed to finish this and wrap this up yesterday, but we, of course, were busy with OSC King of the Hill. We had a limited amount of time to cast. We had 3 hours. And it's the same here tonight. The same tonight. We have 3 hours to go over and wrap up these qualifiers because we have World Team League right after. Oh boy. So we're going to be cutting it close. Hopefully some of these matches aren't too long, but we'll see. We'll embrace them nonetheless. Now, to catch you guys up, of course, we have a bracket. Or we have the matches laying out before us. Here we go. We have... how many in total? 1, 2, 3, 6, 12. 12 qualifying spots here for GSL. We've already had 6 players qualify through. And yesterday we covered the remaining 3 qualifying matches. Yesterday we covered Beyond versus Gumiho. Gumiho took down Beyond 2-0. It was a very impressive showing by Gumiho, flexing his mech, flexing his multitasking, and being able to keep up and shut Beyond down. It was a very impressive TvT there by Gumiho. Gumiho was able to bring Beyond down. Another big result, as you can see here, yesterday was Rogue. Rogue, he popped off, and Rogue took Beyond down 2-1. And this is what I've been saying. Rogue is a bit of an interesting player here because Rogue has only been back a month. He was actually back only 3 weeks or maybe even 2 weeks when the GSL qualifiers took place, and Rogue is on fire. For Rogue to take Beyond down is very impressive considering how little time he has been returned to StarCraft. I was comparing him to the other ex-military players, right? Players like Hero, like Classic, players like Gumiho as well, where it took them a lot longer. It took them a lot longer to get into the swing of things. It took them all a lot longer to actually catch up and then exceed their predecessors. But here we have Rogue returning and already beating Beyond. That's impressive. Very impressive. And it isn't just Beyond. We've been seeing Rogue pop off during online weeklies. We saw Rogue defeat Classic during ESL Open Cup Asia. I think that was 2 weeks ago as well. So Rogue has been, again, he's been popping off. Now, to be fair, if you weren't here for him, that series was very messy. It was a very messy series. it was very chaotic, very scrappy games. I would not say that Rogue looked dominant over Beyond. It seemed more like Rogue, he was getting down and dirty and dragged Beyond into the mud with him. It was so it was a very messy series, but it was a lot of fun. It was a very entertaining series, is what I should say. So yeah, with that big win there for Rogue. And scrolling on down, we have Dongregu DRG taking down TY 2-1 as well. DRG, another ex-military Zerg player, ex-military player. DRG's been back a lot longer. He's been back a year, I think over a year. DRG's been back. And DRG, he's very similar to Stats in that way, where they've both been back a year or even longer, and they've both been trying to find their way back in the game and trying to settle on in, and Stats has finally been making some headway. DRG, again, he always has these moments of brilliance. He can take down some of the big names in Korea, but it's every now and then, and thankfully DRG, he has another opportunity, another chance, as he's made it into the GSL. And now we have 3 matches left. 3 qualifying matches left remaining to be able to fill out our entire GSL roster for this season. We have TY versus Bunny in a TvT, we have Beyond versus Shin in a Terran versus Zerg, and then we have a still undetermined player against Classic in that final match. Oh boy. Here we go. So 3 qualifying matches left, and we start things off with the TvT. Once again, just like last night. Here we go. Oh. It's going to be that TvT between TY and Bunny. Also, if you're in the chat, hope you're all doing well. Papi. Welcome. Bienvenidos. And as a reminder, our plan here is to wrap up and finish up these GSL qualifying matches, and then we're going to be taking a small break and diving right into World Team League. It's going to be a big night. Tonight is the first day of the new season of WTL. We've been, of course, going through the qualifiers and Code A thereafter, and Now we finally made it into Codes, into the main event, but here we go. We're diving on in and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkione. We have our red Terran player representing his new team, Team Falcons. It is Bunny. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the Barcode Terran, the South Korean Terran player. He is blue. He is representing the Kwangdong Freaks. It is TY. And I will need a moment here to set up his name. Un momento, papi, un momento. Just fixing up the overlay here. Bam! There we go. Just setting him up as TY as we settle into our TvT. Ooh. And again, TY, he's a pretty impressive player in the Terran versus Terran matchup. Is quite impressive. We did see him earlier, and yeah, TY, he's more than willing to embrace mech. He's more than willing to embrace mech at any moment in TvT. That's something to bear in mind. He's very similar to Ryung, I would say, a very position-based player, or positional-based player overall, and we do see him going for a double gas opener, going for a faster factory. Likewise, Bunny doing the same thing, going double gas into, I imagine, a faster factory. If you remember, we casted Bunny earlier a couple of days ago in the first round of the GSL qualifiers, and Bunny got knocked down by Rainer in a qualifying match. Now Bunny has another chance. Now he has another opportunity. And as we get into this, a big shout out to Roland in the chat. Papi, oh my god, Roland808S. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime, for the support. Thank you. We do appreciate the support as always. Thanks to the support in the chat, we're able to actually host our events and fund our events like Sparkling Tuna Cup, Sea Duckling Open, and Master Swan Open. Gracias. Thank you. Thank you so much, Roland. Do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. Yeah. Hope you've been enjoying yourself. Hello, Doom. Hello. And for now, mirrored builds. We have mirrored builds between both Bunny and TY. Everything is looking as it should. Nothing too out of the norm yet. We're just waiting for any kind of deviation here, but this looks like we're going to be getting into, I imagine, Cyclone production, at least safety Cyclones. We could try to go Hellion Reaper, that's true, but we have no add-on, we have no reactor yet. CC is going to be taking, we should be expanding, and we are poised for a longer game as well. We're loading into Alkione, a much more standard map in the map pool, very large, very macro-oriented, can lead to some longer games. And we have our answer. We are indeed going Reaper Hellion. Hellion for both players. You see, ooh, TY going to be bleeding out his first SCV. SCV does go down. Bunny backing the hell off. Again, very risky of Bunny to move out with this first Reaper. As you can see, in a head-on fight, he would lose it, but he will manage to get away. Does manage to barely escape to the safety of the Zonaga. Does get away, going for another scout. Meanwhile, in the main base, we can see that TY is actually going into a Widow Mine. Okay, he's going to be sprinkling in a Widow Mine, getting into his 1-1-1. Behind this, Bunny likewise getting into his own 1-1-1, going for a Tech Lab. It looks like we're going for an add-on swap for, I imagine, a Raven. No add-on swap. Very fast tank. Okay. Meanwhile, the Reaper Hellion does hit the natural base Widow Mine, does get borrowed, but does not go off. Yeah, the mine shot still in the chamber. Up. Hellion tries to drag the mine shot, unable to, but the Widow Mine is going to go down. And with the help of this repair, we should be able to hold on, but that's a big delay on the command center. And remember, this tank from Bunny is very fast. It's a very early tank, and we should be working towards very fast tank push. There you go. Medevac is on the way. The first tank has arrived. Second tank. Cyclone's on the way behind this. Okay, just a bit of a kitchen sink here from Bunny, but he does plan on being very aggressive. And so far, TY has no idea. Now, the downside here in this defense is that TY, he holds, right? He defends, but he did lose his Reapers. He has that much less scouting potential available. He has these two Hellions, but he needs to be active with them. Before we can say that, though, here comes that tank. We spoke about it. You don't rush into a tank this early on unless you mean to make use of it. And Bunny is zooming across the map. Now, we'll see if he can get within range of the CC. Can make something happen here against the army. We do see a TY getting into his own tank timing. First tank is soon to arrive. Drop has made it. Does show his hand. TY does get here just in time. Up the tank siege. Just barely out of range of each other, but not out of range of the CC. Lacking forcing back the medevac. We do barely keep it alive. And from here, we're backing up. Wise choice from Bunny. Now that he's lost air control with this Viking, we can see TY just force Bunny back. Thankfully, Bunny didn't lose anything. Did take a couple of hits to his medevac, a couple of hits to his tank, but he does manage to survive, does back off. As boys are being pulled here to repair. Bunny, he wants to keep the pressure up. Again, behind this, getting to reactor Vikings, more tanks, rallying everything across the map, or soon to be. Just topping himself up. You know, behind this, still no third CC inside from TY. Thankfully, he's still making tanks and Vikings. Looking at the units tab, okay, we have 2 tanks for both players. We have Bunny now taking a Viking lead. TY only with the 1. Oh! So we almost catch out the Cyclone. TY's moving out. He might be caught out. No longer back at home. No longer in a defensive position. And he's being out-positioned. Bunny, he has the high ground. And he should be able to focus down these tanks. Yeah, the tanks are going to be targeted. The Liberator going ham here. And we don't actually have that much that shoots up. Yeah, we clean up the tank, but alas, we break on through. Bunny cleans up the tanks. He had Marines. He saved his Vikings, and he barely breaks TY. GG. GG, Bobby. A very short game, but I mean, that's how Korean TvT can go there. And TY, unfortunately, again, it was so unlucky that TY had happened to move out when he did. Remember, he had 3 tanks. He moved out. He got caught unsieged. With that, it wasn't just that Bunny was able to take a better fight there. Bunny also saved his tanks. I kind of glossed over it, but he was able to pick up on his medevac, I believe pick up his Vikings even as well, save them, and TY didn't actually have anything left. GG. And with that, Bunny takes the first game. Bunny does take the first game, and now we're getting ready for game number 2. Getting ready for that second game. It's going to be on Oceanborn. Let's go. Let us go. Also, I should fix TY here. He's not random. There we go. He's Terran. And yeah, very chaotic game there from Bunny. Does take it in the end. But now, we're here to see if TY can bounce back. So loading in to Oceanborn. God, they switched places. God damn it. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Terran player. The red Terran representing his new team, Team Falcons. It is Bunny. Leading the series 1-0 and spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the blue Terran representing Kwangdong Freaks. It is TY. And I just need a moment to set up his name, to set up the overlay. Bam! There we go. TY, I know what it is, but this is not the first event that he's been playing on a barcode. It was actually the last GSL qualifiers were the same thing, also a barcode. Okay. Este TY. I'm shaking my head. But here we go. I mean, personally, I'm a little bit torn. I'm a big fan of both players. I love both TY and Bunny. Big fan of CJ Antis back in the day. I was always cheering for Bunny and Hero and Ragnarok. At least it was called Ragnarok back then. On a weekly basis in Pro League. And yeah, likewise, TY as well. He was always a fan favorite. You know, he was one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, the Terran horsemen of the apocalypse, if you will. It was Byun, Maru, Innovation, and TY. The top 4 Terrans in Korea for quite some time. And had his own reign of dominance. Now we're back, many years later. It's crazy. All these years later. I still remember seeing TY. It was on KT back in the day, if I remember correctly. It was on KT. With Zest, with the boys. Good times, good times. I was actually, fun fact, I was actually looking up Zest's military service earlier today because Trap is back. A bit of an announcement. I don't know if you saw on social media, but Trap is back. He just wrapped up his military service a couple of days ago. I think like 2 days ago or yesterday. Did finish his military, and he did announce that he's returning to StarCraft. He announced that he is coming back to StarCraft, and I was when I saw that, I was like, I remember Trap and Zest, they left it around a similar time, and I was curious when it was. And I checked, and Zest, I believe he left for his military June of 2022. So still a couple of months away before Zest does finish. I think it was around June. I don't think there was like a specific date given, but June was when he retired from StarCraft. And Zest actually had an interview. He had an interview, and he did say during the interview that he wanted to come back after military, and he was talking about his KT days. That's why referring to TY and KT reminded me of the interview. And yeah, we'll see if he does return. Exciting times. They're all coming back. Rogue is back. Trap is back. Where's my patience? That's all I care about. I want my patience back. As this time we have a much more passive start to the game. Here we go. Just getting into our 1-1-1 setup of both Bunny and TY. Going for the add-on swap, and this is what I assumed was going to be the opener from game number 1. TY is going to be going for a Raven opener here. And he's going to be continuing Hellions. Interesting. Going to be doubling down on Hellion production to be a little bit more active and aggressive on the map. Getting to his Ravens. Meanwhile, back at home, Bunny once again prioritizing his tank production. So Bunny is going to have the tank lead. He is going for a Raven first. Unlike the previous game where he rushed into a tank into medevac for a push, that should not be happening here. We are getting to early tanks, that's true, but this should be for a later timing. Meanwhile, the Mass Hellion is an interesting move here at a TY. Say Mass Hellion, the 6 Hellions. This feels a little bit old school, as in more modern TvT we would rely on a couple of Cyclones in the early game, just to be stable, just to be safe. But instead here we're now getting into delayed tank production. Continuing with our Ravens, and we're just settling into our 2-base setup. So hello, Nom Chomsky. Hello, Ligo BBQ. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos. Cyan in the chat as well. Welcome. I did see Aistan earlier. I saw Aistan coping about waking up, and it's morning whenever you wake up. Coping, baby, coping. Hi. To be fair, I also recently woke up. It's what is it? It's 7:30 here in Australia, 7:30 p.m. And I did have a nap. Did wake up just before the cast. That's usually what I try to do, especially when there's like a long casting day. Like for example, today we have GSL followed by WTL. I usually try to nap beforehand. Otherwise, I'm just dead by the end of WTL. It's over. But a couple of hours in. As we do see, we spoke about this in the previous game, how TY does like to embrace mech from time to time. Speaking of, that is a second factory. This is mech. Oh boy. Here we go. So TY is going to be making it up, is amassing his tanks, getting into a second factory, still continuing his, or getting to his Viking production thereafter after his Ravens. Third CC's on the way. Meanwhile, Bunny is already pushing. Bunny is pushing. Now, Stim just started, so we're not going to be having Stim with this initial wave. The Hellions, they do spot the army. Looking at the units tab here, we have 2 Ravens from Bunny. We have 3 from TY. TY also has the Viking advantage, so we can zone the Ravens away. It's gonna be all about those disables. Can we break in? Bunny again with that higher tank count is slowly leapfrogging forward within range of the SCV and the bunker. Just barely. Getting within range of the bunker. But again, because of the double factory production, we're catching up on tanks. We're catching up and exceeding that tank count. Bunker's gonna go down. Stim almost done. Ooh, it's across the map. Auto-shot harassed. Getting into the middle line. SCVs aren't going down. Bunny refusing to back down. Pushes forward, gets within range of the main. Ooh, delays the third CC just barely. And he's within range. He's going for the third base. Can he force a cancel? It's going to be close. Vikings push in. TY does have the Viking lead, but we have auto turrets. And it looks like we do not. Oh god, it's so close. We barely do not get the third CC. Does live, does survive, just barely. It had a slither of HP left. TY saves it. Bunny rotates around towards the natural. Ravens and Vikings out of position. Are out of a position. There we go. We do get within range of the bunker. Bunker goes down. Bunker doesn't matter too much, thankfully. Don't care about our bio. And we do have Endurance Matrix for both players. TY does have... Sorry, my apologies. Bunny has the Viking lead. TY has the Ravens. Tanks are setting up. Behind this, Bunny getting his third CC on location. Again, he knows that he's behind the third CC timing. So he's trying to make up for that. Trying. Dragging the Marines out of position. Get one. There's 3 left. Bunny could maybe be a little bit more assertive with these Vikings. Could try to force this back, but even then it's risky just because of the auto turrets. So it looks like we're trying to go for the tanks. A bit of an awkward angle, and yeah, the Matrix is wasted. I think Bunny just wasn't aware that there was another tank on the edge. And with that, TY, he holds it. He's going across the map. I do like this move because I mentioned before that Bunny could have been more assertive with his Vikings. That's because Bunny, he's got 17 Vikings to the 9 of TY. So may as well just go for some harass. We're going for a Viking drop. We're going for some landed Viking harass instead. And Bunny, he missed it. He missed the move out. And he's getting caught with his pants down. We're diving into the main base. There's an army back at home, but not enough. Auto turrets get thrown down. Vikings get shut down as well. We can land on the tank. Marines, they're racing back home, but there are so many Vikings. Boys are being pulled. Oh my god. A little bit awkward. Ravens are shut down. Good pickoffs there by Bunny. Does get some Ravens. That is 14 SCVs going down, by the way. And we're not done. We landed the third. Deny mining. Mining, good kiting here once again, and Bunny, he has achieved nothing with this army despite having such a massive Viking count. We're getting even more done. Honestly, we needed these Vikings to go into the main, right? It's like to bypass these tanks, to get into the main base, to wreak havoc. But again, Bunny a little bit flustered. And now we're pushing in. We have a Liberator. And Bunny lost 16 SCVs. He's down in the economy. Doesn't have his third, not yet. Thor has arrived. Getting some decent hits in. Oh. Once again, trying to go for the disable, but yeah, there are too many tanks. The Thor, even within range of the Liberator. The Liberator has to on siege. Vikings, they race back home. Again, Bunny still has the Viking lead, but the Thor putting in a lot of work. Massive anti-armor missile, but we cannot push into the Thor. TY is holding. Liberator goes down. Yeah, even bold enough to expand. Going for some medevacs. Let's go. Getting to the low ground. Going for a Hellbat drop. TY, it's Heart of the Swarm again. The Hellbat drops, they're back. Getting ready for the dive. Yeah, not quite. We just dropped the Hellbats off. Never mind. I got excited, Bobby. I got excited. Yeah, big tank volley is going to be going off. But TY, instead of full surround, he pulls the boys. And with that, the Vikings, they have to land. A lot of workers are going to be going down. But Bunny's going to get cleaned up. Going to get shut down. The Vikings, they can land as well, and they will. Every tank goes down. TY with a massive supply lead, and we're pushing. Jeez. It's a lot of Vikings, a lot of tanks, a lot of mech. Back home, Bunny trying to keep up, but he has to rebuild from scratch. He's down to 2 tanks, down to 3 Vikings. barely has an army. And again, a lot of this off of the back of that Viking harass. TY did so well with that. Now we're pushing in. Boys are being pulled, but it's just a numbers game. TY, he has too much. He's snowballing out of control. Breaks through the defensive line. We have one tank left and one lib. And GG gets called. TY ties up the series 1-1. GG. Oh. We have an ace match. We have a game 3. GG, well played. Again, TY was up against the wall for a moment there. Bunny, unfortunately, had a really hard time gaining any ground, though. Remember, he was parked outside the natural, but even though he had these ravens, every now and then we saw, like, a disable here or there, but he couldn't really capitalize on the disables. And even though Bunny had a massive Viking lead for a long time there, he couldn't make use of it. Again, maybe he was just a little bit too tentative with his Vikings. I mentioned before that there were some opportunities for him to maybe be more assertive with his Vikings and like just go over those Marines. It was only 3 Marines, only 3 Marines on the ground. He could have tried to bully TY a little bit more and dive on the Ravens and dive on the Vikings, but at the same time I don't think Buddy knew how far ahead he was, well, specifically how far ahead in the Viking count he was, so he was just a little bit more passive with it, and TY took advantage of it. Did take advantage of Bunny, and with that we're going to the ace match. We're going all the way to game number 3. Let's go. Let us go. Game 3 going to be on Site Delta. They switched sides again. God damn it. As spawning in the top left hand corner of Site Delta, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran representing Team Falcons, being forced into the ace match. Can he bounce back? It is Bunny. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player, the Blue Terran representing the Kwangdong Freaks. It is TY. We go. And do we see mech again? I mean, to be fair, that last game wasn't really because of TY's mech. A little bit did come down to the harassment, the counterattack from TY. Bunny maybe being a little bit overconfident in his position, being so sure of himself that TY would not be able to slip past. And Bunny was caught with his pants down. The pants, they were off, Bobby. They were off. They weren't meant to be. And now we're settling into game number 3, and we already have a deviation. Bunny going double gas. Double gas opener out of our Red Terran player. This is going to lead into a faster factory. Meanwhile, we see TY going for a single gas opener, going for a Rax expand, going for something more economic instead. Now, you can get away with this on Site Delta, or it's, I should say, a little bit more common on Site Delta, just because it's more defendable. You have a ramp leading into the natural, so it's harder to really lay siege and apply pressure to the natural base. So it's a little bit safer, so it doesn't make sense for TY to come out with this build here and now. I would have said something similar about Alkione though as well. And there it is, CC is on the way. So the pressure is going to be on Bunny right now to try to get some counter damage done and make up for his delayed expansion. This Bunny will be slightly behind here in the economy. Now soon to be working on his CC. Going Reaper first. Now with our first couple of Reapers, we're going to be scouting and looking for any proxies. We see Bunny checking the left-hand side, so is TY. You don't want to actually move out with your first Reaper, just because if your opponent went Reactor first and goes double Reaper, then they can catch you out. So this is a very bold move out of Bunny, as he's pushing. Again, he's vulnerable back at home. There's nothing to defend back at home. If TY had done the same, then we'd be in a lot of havoc, a lot of chaos. TY does shoot first, does force Bunny back. Bunny did see the timing of the factory, so he should be aware that it was a CC. It was a faster expansion, as otherwise the factory should have already been done. So Bunny, he's aware that he's behind in the economy. He is now coming in with 2 Reapers. Meanwhile, TY did go singular Reaper into the reactor, by the way. Nice, oh, nice grenade. Solid KDA charge. Reapers, they do slip in. They do delay that starport. Get one SCV in the main, one mule even. SCV goes down as well. Hellions have a ride. We should clean this up. Oh, but not before losing another SCV. That was 3 SCVs in total and a mule. Not bad. Not bad for Bunny. Bearing in mind that Bunny had to kill workers because he's behind when it comes to his CC and his orbital. So Bunny had to get damage done, and he did. That will help even things up. Bunny is ahead in SCVs, but we have mules here, or additional mules from TY. And better production. And now the game will settle. We're going to calm things down here. We do have Raven production for both players. Matrix being researched here by TY. We should be seeing Matrix also researched by Bunny momentarily as well. There it is, on the way. But what I'm curious about is whether or not TY plays mech again. Whether we embrace another factory and a heavier tank count. We'll see. Once again, TY opening up 6 Hellion. Interesting. Shouldn't be able to break through. There is a tank in position. Does dive on top of the tank, though. Going for the SCVs. Oh, the boys that pulled, they do bunch up. SCVs are going to be going down. The tank, having a hard time cleaning this up. Cannot shoot. The army's too close, forcing friendly fire as well. And looking at the unit slots tab, that was quite a number of SCVs. That was 4 in total. A lot of them softened up. We got some mules as well. Could have been worse. We could have gotten more. I'm not going to lie. I would have assumed that more. There we go. 6 SCVs go down. Auto turret harass in the main. At least the tank lived. At least the tank did survive. And with that, TY now takes a worker lead. He's up 6 SCVs. Has recovered in that worker count. Oh, right, of course. This doesn't actually show the SCVs killed by friendly fire, I believe. I think the battle report does. I can't remember. I know one does, one doesn't. Here we go. Ravens are moving out. Oh! Do you run into the Marines? Do you run in? So TY does pull back. Getting into a 3rd CC. So we're just getting into a longer game. Not trying to force the issue. Just macroing instead. Meanwhile, Bunny, he's the one to push. He's the one to push out instead. Now, Bunny does have a tank lead. He's got Vikings over his opponent. He's got 2 Ravens. The Ravens are softened up, which is concerning. TY is investing into Stim. Let's go. It's going to be Biotank. Not mech. As Bunny tries to wedge his way through. TY gets caught out. Oh, the tank! First tank does go down. Big pickup. We're now down a tank. Marines, they push forward. Bunny gaining ground. Tanks are a little bit too far back. Can we get another tank? We can! It's going to be another 2 tanks falling. TY in some trouble. Bunny getting closer. Oh, does take some tank shots to the face. Bleeds out a tank. Vikings are coming out as well. TY, he has kept his Ravens alive. With that auto turret, looks like we take down another tank. TY down to 0 tanks, by the way. We can push in. Bunny taking it slow. Yeah, within range of the CC. Another tank does arrive. I mean, he is getting damage done. 3rd CC just now starts for Bunny. With some Raven harass across the map. SCVs are going down. The base is getting low. And Ash, we're getting very low here for TY. A couple more volleys is all we need. Vikings are coming in. And we do have a repair. Oh, it's close. It's just barely enough. We're keeping the base alive. A tank of the high ground out of range. And the orbital will live. But this is a big blow to the economy here of TY. And we're pulling the boys. We go for the disables. We catch 2. Catch 1 tank. We get a 2nd tank as well. TY is breaking out. Has the Viking lead. Has to respect those Marines. Oof. Dragging them within tank range. GG gets called. Bunny does not break TY. He holds with a third CC, and TY takes the series 2-1. He defends. He qualifies for GSL. GG. Happy. GG, well played. TY, he was up against the wall, by the way. Bunny did so well sniping those tanks. There was a period there where TY was down to 0 tanks and Bunny had 3 at his front door. I do think that Bunny had 3 at his front door. I do think that Bunny was a little bit too passive. If you remember, it was after he killed all the tanks, he instead of pushing a little bit deeper into the natural, he just slowly kept forward. Only 2 of his tanks were within range of the CC. I do think he could have been a little bit more adventurous with his follow-up push there, just because there was nothing to defend against him. But at the same time, he didn't know that. He didn't know that there were literally 0 tanks left from the side of TY. And at TY, he was able to hold on long enough, able to buy some time, able to muster up an army, and able to shut down the push. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to TY. Congratulations, TUI. He is going to be a part of this season of GSL. Not just that, but TUI also qualified for ASL as well. If you're unfamiliar, ASL is the Africa TV Star League. It is a Brood War. It is a Brood War, or the Brood War version of GSL, basically. So, yeah, this season, TUI is going to be in ASL and GSL as well. Impressive. Very impressive. Has that happened before? Wait. Has that happened before? I know that okay, hold on. So Rain and Sulky, they completely retired from StarCraft 2 when they started playing Brood War again. So did Jadong, and so did Flash. Maybe Fantasy? I remember Fantasy was playing both StarCraft 2 and Brood War when he returned from the military, but I don't think he qualified for GSL. You'd have to correct me. I'm fuzzy on the first year that Fantasy came back. I'm fuzzy on whether or not he qualified for StarCraft for GSL. I can't remember with Fantasy. Otherwise, this could be a first. this could be a first, Bobby. Playing in both leagues at the same time. Impressive. GG. GG, well played. I'm double checking Fantasy. For those who don't remember, because Fantasy, he's now fully retired from StarCraft 2, but it was in 2021? Was it in 2021 or 2022 when Fantasy returned from the military? He was playing in both. He was playing in both.